Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
And hello all, and how y'all doing this late Saturday evening? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and I gotta get back on track saying this, because I gotta remind you all, in order to be superior to the man, you've gotta be the man. And the man himself is live for my live review of this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. It is the April 19th, 2023 edition. And first off, as disclaimer, so you know, no, I was not crying. My allergies, though, have just been acting up the past couple of days. They've been better today, but obviously my eyes look a little bit dried out. They're still a little watery here and there, but, you know, I'm fine. Yesterday, I was hoping to do maybe one or two live streams, but because I had my allergies were acting up pretty bad yesterday, I decided to, and first off, my live chat is not working here. Why is my live chat not working? This is not cool at all, view YouTube. Hang on. Oh, it's working now. Okay. We got that fixed. Okay, there we go. And we have Tyler here in the live chat. Successfully connected. Awesome. Before I check Tyler's comments in the live chat, again, I wanted to try to get started with getting caught up last night with these live reviews. But again, unfortunately, my allergies acting up. I thought I would wait. And I didn't really have the time today. I had my nephews over, and they're spending the night. And I had a little bit of a family movie night and whatnot. So I thought before I went to bed, I would try to at least do one live review. Because AEW and SmackDown this week, I do want to do live. Again, Raw, I felt like there had too much coming out of it. Although SmackDown was not that much better. It's important that I think we should talk about SmackDown live, but we'll do that hopefully at some point tomorrow. We will see. Because again, I do have some stuff to do tomorrow, but we will see. But yeah, hopefully there will be more video games content coming out this week as well too. I did just finish the last part of my Roller Coaster Tycoon Let's Play for Katie's World last night. I still got to edit the third year, but at some point this week that will all come out, and I am continuing to work on the Wolf Bell 1 Let's Play as well. Also, before I get started, just to get this out there, I was tweeting the past couple days that, again, I am looking to do at sometime soon. I'm going to probably slowly work on the graphics and try to do that stream sometime soon. But again, just the next couple of months especially are going to get very busy, of course, even busier than they already are with my wedding coming up in July. So it's always just be patient with that. But basically, I could not figure out what my number 10 should be. So based off of 6 finalists I did some polls. And the winners of those 3 polls, I then did, one poll with those final 3. I did on both Twitter and YouTube, and even posted on my Instagram as well, but no one's been commenting on it, so Instagram's probably not going to play that much of an effect on it. But so just so you know, I posted it, of course, on my Twitter. But YouTube seems to be getting a lot more votes right now than my Twitter. Unless if just Alex decides to retweet it. Because he did retweet 2 of my polls for the last one. And they both got a lot of views. So thank you, Alex, of course, for that. But just so you know, if you want to vote on it, either on Twitter or YouTube, the 3 finalists for my number 10 spot for my worst matches of all time video is John Cena versus John Laurinaitis at WWE's Over the Limit 2012, D-Generation X versus the Brothers of Destruction at Crown Jewel 2018, and The Miz versus Damian Priest in the Zombie Lumberjack match from Backlash 2021. Hopefully, of course, we'll have a final answer on that tomorrow, and again, I will start working on the graphics for that stream. When it's going to happen, I'm not sure, because I am going to be prepping for it, but yeah, just make sure, of course, give a vote on that, and definitely check out the stream when it comes out. It will be a fun little video for sure to do. But with that out of the way, though, all those preliminaries, let's roll into this review, because I am a little tired, and I do have to get up at a decent time tomorrow, but I will roll through this review pretty smoothly and effectively. Overall, Dynamite this week, which first off took place right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as Mick Foley would say when he completely botched it. The Fallout show from Roadblock End of the Line 2016. That was not a good show, not worth seeing. This episode of Dynamite actually, this episode of Dynamite actually was right here in Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, though, I did not attend. Again, with it being close to my wedding and a lot of other stuff going on, I said, you know what, I'll skip it this time, but hopefully next time I could be going next time Dynamite comes back to Pittsburgh. But I thought it was a great show. Again, like I said, I definitely liked the fresh, stories, the fresh faces that seem to be getting like a little bit like a spotlight going into Double or Nothing. Love the stuff that they're doing with the 4 pillars of AEW. I'm still hoping, even despite the fact that we had a winner thanks to MJF cheating and making a deal with the other heel in the match. I do still hope that is indeed a fatal 4-way match between MJF, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Jungle Boy. I'm hoping for that. I'm definitely still loving the stuff to do with the Elite and the BCC. And then the stuff that tied together with Adam Cole, Britt Baker, Chris Jericho, and the Outcasts also. Brutal, but a really, really good segment. That might have been, well, of course, one, doing it in her hometown also helped too, but that might have been the segment that kind of like revealed a little bit more of the bitch factor that I keep saying. That's hard for me to still try to see the Outcasts trying to get heel heat over two popular stars that just still have the bitch factor on them. But that we did have a title change, even though that was a little meh, but it was nice to see someone get something in their hometown. But of course, just the whole concept of the TNT title is still really souring on me. But again, we had a great show. I look forward to talking about it. And again, we'll move on from there and hopefully do SmackDown tomorrow. But again, we'll wait and see what happens, of course. We have Tyler in a live chat. Why the fuck is Seth facing Omos at Backlash? Hashtag Fire Vince. Which I will save that for my SmackDown review. I think it will be part 2 of my hashtag Fire Vince rant. Tyler says I should do worst WWE matches of all time and redo reveals for WWE only for the worst. You can do that. Sure, that'd be a good video, I think. Tyler gave this show a C-. I know Tyler and I don't always see eye to eye on AEW, but he's a good supporter, so I definitely respect your opinion. Yeah, we're going to get rolling right into the show, and we're going to talk about it. So we opened up with Jungle Boy coming out. Before he can start saying anything, though, here out comes Sammy Guevara. And before he can say anything, we get a video about bad boy Dennis Rodman and a former military man, Greg Popovich. But basically, oh wait, what the heck am I thinking? Why am I reading this? Anyways, I'm on the wrong page. I'm sorry. Anyways, before Sammy could talk, here came Darby Allin. Darby tells Sammy that out of all the pillars, he's known him the longest, and he likes him the most. But Sammy's the least qualified to challenge for the title because perception is reality, and he comes off more so like a sidekick rather than a main eventer. Himself and Sting are equals, and it's not the Sting Appreciation Society. He said Jericho is holding Guevara back, And if they have a problem with that, he'd love to talk it out. As for Jungle Boy, he had to work the least hardest because he was handpicked because he's part of this California clique. And when he was announced as under contract, Darby was still living out of his car. So, increasing a little tension between the two. The babyface as well, which is a nice rub as well. He was jealous, but it didn't take long for that to disappear because nothing about him intimidates him. Jungle Boy says he always sees the kids in the crowd with their face painted like Darby and wonders what they think if they knew the real Darby, who's unfriendly and who's apparently rude. And then Jack says this wasn't even Darby's first choice. He wouldn't be here if he hadn't failed at skateboarding. And then Jungle Boy then calls Sammy an immense dirtbag and says out of the Darby and MJF, he actually respects Sammy the most. For better or for worse with Sammy, what you see is exactly what you get. Sammy doesn't have to put on an act, basically. He puts his body, his life, and his future on the line, and Perry responds that he's still a scumbag piece of shit. And then Sammy takes a turn and says Jungle Boy is just like MJF, handpicked to be here, and at the first Double or Nothing, Darby didn't even work here. Sammy was on the pre-show and he watched Bret the Hitman Hart in the ring with Jungle Boy and MJF. Hell, go back to Revolution. Neither he or Darby made the card, but MJF and Jungle Boy did. So it feels like he can relate the most to Darby. Two sides of the coin, willing to do whatever it takes to make it, and he has to thank him for giving him hope when Darby lost match after match, and then BAM! He was the first pillar to win a title here. Darby became champion and thought he'd do it better. He did 3 times, and there's this never-ending competition between the two of them. But now it's Darby's time to sit back and watch as Sammy becomes world champion. Jungle Boy says he's going to be the next champion, but not just for himself, but for everyone who supported him since day one. This, of course, brings out MJF, who doesn't care what Pittsburgh thinks, as, of course, they boo him. He's not getting a hero's welcome like he does in Long Island. He tells his fellow pillars to stop fighting over him. He's going to blush from that. Yeah, right. He knows they're all tied up in the rankings, so he had to talk with a good friend of his named Tony Khan. And there's going to be a Pillars tournament to crown the number 1 contender for Double or Nothing. One of them is going to get a bye, which he picked for them, and it was Darby Allin. So in the main event tonight, it'll be Sammy Guevara and Jungle Boy, who will happen in the main event later on tonight, which at first MJF says about to happen next. It's psych, it's happening tonight. Well, I'm sorry, it could be saying next week or another time, but they're saying psych, we're not waiting, we're doing this tonight. So Darby gets the bye, so it'll be Sammy and Jungle Boy in the main event of this show. Again, I've continued to really love these fresh feuds. Again, it's 4 fresh faces in the world title picture, which I think is spectacular to really elevate them for sure. We then have the Outcasts, Ruby Soho and Tony Storm, take on Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter. Team DMD do win a solid match by submission, with Britt Baker putting the lockjaw on Ruby Soho. Of course, though, that was not the end of it. We'll get to that, of course, later on. Renee Paquette then interviewed Wardlow, saying it wasn't too long. He had a horseman ringside for him, who taught him about everything about evening the odds. So he reached out to another horseman for assistance tonight, which was, in fact, the former manager for Cody Rhodes in AEW, Arn Anderson. Okay, that's interesting. Wardlow tells him he should do 4 horsemen stuff because that wakes people up. Tully Blanchard taught him to be the best checkers player in the arena, but tonight, get ready, because we're going to start playing some chess. The Elite come out, and then Kenny mentioned how these past couple weeks have been some of the most difficult in his life and the BCC are 4 of the most respected men in wrestling until they made his friend bleed and sent him to the hospital. He's been having trouble sleeping lately, seeing that screwdriver in the top turnbuckle, and he wishes he taken it and stabbed Moxley with it. So what we have tonight isn't meet and greet; it's an invitation. He calls out the BCC so they can be squashed like beef, the beef like men. And then Bryan Danielson appears on the Tron, calls them all amateurs, coming out and saying they don't have much to say when they have promo time. Nobody wants to see open mic night. The rest of the BCC then attacked the Elite, from inside, running in from the crowd. Back and forth they brawled. But then, of course, as you know, they started to, first they started to brawl, and Brian's like, I don't have much to say when they have promo time. Nobody wants to see, this isn't that. Anyways, but that was a brawl of the floor, and then BCC came out first. I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed up again. Tired here, I'm sorry. And then after they started coming out, then out came Brian. He says he thought Kenny would be professional, but maybe he's not. Don Callis ran in with a chair to play Calvary until Brian calls him out and drops it and runs away. Brian says how Kenny would rather sit in the lobby of his own potential, and that's the case, he needs to be gone. So Brian just casually pulls out that screwdriver that he's just so deadly with, but tries to be so calm. He's like, yeah, it's totally fine. Basically is what it is. And then, of course, as you know, Brian's about to use the screwdriver on Kenny. Don Callis returns, and with him, he brings Konosuke Takeshita. And he basically helps them outdo the Elite. So, I guess, again, my prediction of Colt Cabana is not going to happen. I don't think it really should at this point. To be honest, it's that important. But Konosuke Takeshita, though, it seems to be the 5th member for the Elite right now, which I'll take that. That's going to be interesting, of course, once, of course, Punk comes back, hopefully, and this leads to some sort of like a 5-way. We'll see. Wardlow in his hometown beat Powerhouse Hobbs to become the TNT champion. Like I said, this was nice to see Wardlow get a moment in his hometown. Again, though, he's played hot potato already with that TNT title like 3 times. Again, that the international title to me still has much more prestige than the TNT title. So yeah, Wardlow beats Powerhouse Hobbs to win the title for a 3rd time. We have another tease of Christian Cage and Luchasaurus. Sam Guevara is being interviewed backstage saying he's not friends with MJF and they've gone from the wrong foot, and then basically MJF comes out of nowhere and tries to bribe Sammy with money to get him to do whatever he wants to help him out with this main event match. Switchblade Jay White took on Commander. They had a pretty good match. Of course, a couple of spots looked like Commander was about to botch on the ropes, but then he ended up covering it up pretty good, I would say. But still a great match. And I believe this match is what led to them offering Commander a contract, which that's always nice hearing those stories when someone does so well and then they get offered like a contract or whatnot, and that's what happened with Commander. So, really stacking up there. Jay White does win, but during the match itself, we see Shawn Spears in the crowd. And I don't think we've seen Shawn since his wife, former WWE superstar Peyton Royce, a.k.a. Cassie Lee, gave birth to their first child. But of course, before he had left, he was starting the Perfect 10 gimmick. And he was basically given like a 5 or whatnot to Switchblade's performance. Afterwards, though, when Jay White won with the Blade Runner, Shawn gets involved, trying to help out, but there was still a little bit of damage done there. We then have this thing where apparently Mark Briscoe was attacked earlier, and FTR is coming together with Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and all of them, even though they're heel on heel, are trying to work together to help out Mark Briscoe, who got beaten down badly at Rampage the week before. So now we got this here. So we got Chris Jericho and Adam Cole getting ready to go face to face. Again, someone who AEW's definitely really been booking a lot on the shows since he's come back. They're really, really pushing that babyface momentum on him. And actually, really quick, let me take a quick 2-minute break. I need a drink really bad right now, so I will be right back. FYI, I peeked out in the living room when I went to go get a drink of water, and my nephew, who just started watching wrestling recently, was watching WrestleMania 32 with Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose. We all remember how much of a letdown that match was. Spoiler alert, though, that match is not on my list or one of my choices for being for my worst matches of all time stream I'm going to do upcoming soon. But yeah, I just had to throw that out there. Anyways, though, we'll talk about this segment. Probably my favorite part of the show was the stuff with Adam Cole and Chris Jericho. So Adam Cole comes out, and of course he gets a nice little pop because he did grow up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So he had some family in town, and of course Pittsburgh is always known as Britsburg. So Cole comes out and says anyone who's followed his career knows how much he's studied and idolized Chris Jericho. His catchphrase "Bay Bay" was inspired from Chris Jericho. He's read the first book in high school. He says some things he likes about Chris Jericho, and now they are sharing a ring together. And then Jericho, of course, does come out and then offers a handshake. Jericho shakes his hand, says he's been watching Adam and wanted to say from the bottom of his heart that Jericho has absolutely no respect for Adam Cole. As a matter of fact, he thinks Adam Cole is an arrogant SOB, and the audacity he has to interrupt his celebration last week was unacceptable. He tells Cole he's lucky he doesn't slap his dumb face right now. Cole tells him he's been a real jag-off lately, which basically led to the crowd chanting jag-off at Jericho. The JAS look at him like a god, but who's the real Jericho? The guy that has them fight his battles for him, or the guy who's the absolute greatest of all time? Cole thinks the real Jericho is insecure, fickle, and also a stupid idiot. No more looking down the ramp and giving each other the side eye. Jericho had asked for his attention, got it, so now what? Jericho says, first of all, I'm no jagoff. And second of all, Adam, you don't impress me. They say you don't want to meet your heroes, and this is 100% true. And Cole shouldn't want anything to do with him and will turn around and get out of the ring that Jericho built right here, right effing now. Cole then asks what he wants to do about it. And they start shoving each other and they start brawling. But then Daniel Garcia comes out to make the save and even the odds. And then Britt Baker, of course you all know, Adam Cole's real life girlfriend, she comes out as well. And she makes the save, and she slaps Jericho across the face. But then you see the Outcasts slide right in the ring, and they lay out Britt. And then Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia handcuffed Adam Cole to the ropes. And then Daniel Garcia brought in a kendo stick. And Adam Cole originally was going to hit... Jericho was then going to strike the handcuffed Adam Cole with the stick. But then he turned around. He saw Britt Baker, the same woman who just bitch slapped him across the face. He handed that stick to Saraya, and she just whoops the hell out of Britt with the kendo stick. I've been saying this recently too. You wanted a segment that helped generate a little more, babyface oomph for Britt Baker, because I keep saying they should have done some other sort of type of babyface, besides, Jamie and Britt, that's going to be a truer babyface to benefit from this, in my opinion. But of course, it was so good again. One, they did this in the right town. They did it in Pittsburgh, where they would definitely boo them for attacking Britt. And having Adam Cole, who's tied to the ropes, just begging, drastically for them to stop. I think there was even a point in the match where Britt goes, Austin! And we all know that Adam's real name is, in fact, Austin Jenkins. I think his real name is. But I know his first name is actually Austin. But she begs for him. And then Cole, just broken heartedly, has to watch his girl get beaten to pieces with that kendo stick. And they attack the back too. And again, she has that bad back recently. So that one was tough to watch. But a very, very good segment. I do look forward to seeing what Jericho does at Double or Nothing with Chris Jericho. That will be a good feud, I think. And this was a nice, way to really, put some fuel on it, I feel like. We got a hype video of the Hardy Boys, Isaiah Cassidy, and Hook. Matt tells us to keep our phones out so when we know the next deletion is happening. And Jeff says he'll talk to the AEW audience on Friday on Rampage, probably addressing his return. We have The Acclaimed with Billy Gunn taking on JAS's Cool Hand Ange, Daddy Magic, Matt Menard, and Jake Hager. I didn't care about this. Yes, of course, the Acclaimed were over like crazy, but again, I just don't give a single shit about 2.0 and Jake Hager and that stupid ass hat. I can't take it. And then we had the main event, Sammy Guevara versus Jungle Boy. Apparently this is a first time ever match, and I did not realize they've never had a match before. And I hope we do get a little more from them, because again, I'm still hoping for a Fatal 4-Way. Match was great, some great maneuvers, great counters, of course. But the reason why this match ended, though, was when we got to that finish. Earlier in the show, we did have a segment where MJ was trying to sweet talk Sammy Guevara. And basically try to get him to hand him a blank check and say, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Just, make sure to be basically by my side in tonight's main event between Darby Allin and himself. I'm sorry, not Darby. Jungle Boy and himself. But then, of course, at first MJF wasn't agreeing with the amount that Sammy wrote on the check. But then, of course, MJF still came out and still helped Sammy win the match. And Max and Sam Marcello together, they were the best of geniuses and the best of friends now. But I'm pretty sure that's not going to be it with that story. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some way, somehow, for this to still turn into a Fatal 4-Way. To me, it's got to happen. I'm just saying. Not very much in the live time for Tyler, but I'm going to check out here now, guys, because I am tired myself. And I gave Dynamite this week a B+. Some really great stuff. Again, I really enjoyed the stuff with Britt and the JAS and the Outcasts. The stuff with the 4 Pillars was pretty darn good. And a few other things. I'm just losing my train of thought because I'm tired here. But I'm going to check it out, guys. Thank you all for joining me live. Again, make sure, of course, to vote on the poll for the number 10 spot for my worst matches of all time on either Twitter, YouTube, or TikTok right now. You can follow me on Twitter at the Club of the Man 93. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993. And as always, guys, do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, You've got to be the man. Have a good night, guys, because for I am the man himself.